Good morning. This is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Ttouch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And it's very hard doing these right now. I'm just busy in the mornings. But I had a couple of things happen this week, and I thought I'm going to squeeze this one in a little early so that I can do it. So what I want to talk about today is the importance of body work for our dogs. People do not think about this. It is the last thing on their minds. But I have now, just this week, a couple of times seen an 18-year-old dog that I've known a long time. And he's had a couple of craniosacral therapy sessions with a little chiropractic work and some other energy work. And he looked so good this weekend that when the relatives came from out of town, they thought he was a different dog. Like, they didn't realize that this 18-year-old lump on the floor peeing everywhere could possibly return to this dog who could walk and was peeing outside and was bright and interested in the world again. So that was one dog. And then I had another dog recommended to me by a friend, a mutual friend. And these people were skeptical. They love this dog. They'll do anything for this dog. Dog's been losing his balance. He's 13, they think. I don't know. It's a shelter dog. But, you know, he's old enough that people think, oh, that's it. He's on his way out. Again, worked on the dog, got up, not three-legged lame anymore, walked around the yard, doing so much better. And the people's hope in the fact that they could keep their dog happy for many months more, maybe years, has been renewed. So, you know, I do really specific, highly skilled craniosacral therapy with animals. And there are 4 of us in the United States at my level, maybe 3. And, you know, my friend Tracy in Colorado is one of them. And you have me here on the East Coast. But most people can't get to somebody like me. There just aren't very many of us around. But there are Ttouch practitioners across the United States and around the world, and the work that they do is not the same as what I do, but it's also very effective and can be super helpful with these old dogs. This guy that I saw recently, he had an ACL surgery, had rehab before but not after, really stiff on that side, has been walking a compromised gait ever since then, weight bearing heavily on the right, limping onto the front legs. I mean, you don't have to be the most advanced Ttouch practitioner in the world because you're trained to see these kinds of problems from the start. And they would be using wraps on this dog, doing circles around the back leg that was had the surgery, and also doing circles with that leg and helping the dog weight bear more evenly. And so please, if you have an old dog or a dog that's not himself, find a Ttouch practitioner on their website, ttouch.com, or contact me and I can try to find you one of my students. There are quite a few people from like the Illinois, Indiana area. And as I said, my friend Tracy's in Colorado. I have a friend Pam in Maryland, down near DC. And I have a couple of colleagues in Florida that I would recommend. But, you know, it's just so hard to think of this. And there are people, I have a client that comes here sometimes out in the Eastern Shore, north of Boston. It's a long drive for her, hour and 45 minutes. Okay, she's also got almost no money. So it's very hard for her to make an appointment for her dog. In desperation, a friend of hers is learning animal Reiki. And I think they're doing a live course, not a long distance one, but the person's really interested, horse person, works with animals all the time. And so she had that person do a couple of live Reiki sessions with her dog after he had a pretty serious injury, being squished under a chair. And wonders of wonders, that little guy was better in a couple of days. It saved my friend a long drive out here, $100 for a session with me. And it helped the dog a lot. So if you can even find somebody who does animal Reiki, and there are lots of those people around, anybody that does person Reiki usually will try their luck with animal Reiki. And even if you're a Reiki practitioner yourself, I have to tell you, and everybody else will too, it is very hard to work on your own pet. So get your friend or neighbor or colleague or teacher to work on your pet for you. And live, I would recommend if your dog has a recent frank injury like that one did. But, in desperation, you can try remote work. And I do quite a lot of remote work with emotion code for animals, and I've also done remote Reiki, and I've done remote cranial work with really good success. Now, not everyone believes that this is possible, and not everyone is going to want to try this, but you know, that is another option. But the important thing I want you to understand today is to look for body work for your animal when vets are giving you the wrong direction. I mean, this poor dog that I saw, his very well respected vets in my area put him on ID, science diet. If you follow my sister, you know, like, who wants to eat that? And is his diarrhea cleared up? Not really. Now, I talked to them about getting rabbit for him, but just some other recommendations of good products for him, not dry kibble, because he was on a very popular, very mediocre, very commercially available kibble. Not a grocery store kibble, but pretty close for most of his life. And he's not unlike a lot of dogs in his intestinal situation because he's a black dog. So chicken was okay for him for a lot of years, as it is for a lot of black dogs because it heats them up and they tend to be cold. But he's an old guy now. He's got a lot of inflammation. He had this surgery 5 years ago. He's been limping. You know, he's got a lot of inflammation in his body, and the chicken is no longer serving him. And that could be one of the contributing factors to the diarrhea. So I've given them a lot of suggestions for his food. But, you know, their vet is very well respected and was steering them in the wrong direction food-wise. So, you know, how many vets are completely unaware, if they're not aware of food, aware of physical therapy for your pet? And, you know, is there even a good physical therapist in your area? There's one person, maybe an hour from me, who I would recommend. She's really good. And I don't know how or why she's really good. I think she's just a very observant person and very eager to learn. So she has taken classes and looked at things and studied things. And you know, I have not seen an animal that came from her who had her rehab after surgery who is not actually better for it. And I do see plenty of animals that were further injured from rehab at less well-run situations than what she has. Because it's very important that you don't overface them with the rehab afterwards. You know, a lot of rehab is pain management and helping the person understand what to look for. And, you know, I always teach them Tellington Ttouch because that's going to help pain and it's going to help bond with their dog. And it's going to make the dog and the person both feel better, which in many cases, the dog feels better when the person feels better. So Ttouch is critical. So find a Ttouch practitioner in your area. Look online and find somebody that does animal Reiki or, you know, other kinds of animal body work, because body work can really give you many more years of life with your dog. There are animal acupuncture and chiropractic vets around. They're also super helpful. Another old dog client of mine gets regular acupuncture and chiropractic from their vet. However, he injured his shoulder and he needed some soft tissue work to go with that, because as anyone who does chiro can tell you, you know, you can put the bones in place, but if the soft tissue is still in spasm, it's not going to hold. So this old guy came to me and he's looking great now. He's not three-legged lame. So it's been a week of old dogs here. And thank God they came to me for body work. Good to see you guys. Good morning. Oh yes, I am a great aunt now. I don't know when I'll ever see that child though because of COVID and the long, long distance, but I see pictures. So make sure you consider body work for your pet. No matter what is going on with them, that is something that you should not overlook. Many animals have come to me with digestive issues, and certainly plenty of the Ttouches can help with that. There are Ttouch practitioners everywhere. You can find one. So look one up in your area. Even if you don't have an issue with your pets right now, just go to ttouch.com and find people in your area and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm really interested in this work. I want to know where you are. Can I watch you do a session? Can we meet for lunch? You know, maybe not now with COVID. Can we Zoom for lunch? But, you know, just reach out to them and make contact because they can help you. And don't be discouraged. If you're a dog person and the only person in your area does horses, a lot of those horse people have done a little work on dogs here and there. And, you know, it's better than nothing. And boy, I have worked with many a dog practitioner who has been called to help a horse because there's no horse people in their area. and they didn't know everything, but they knew enough to help the person help the horse. So, and they of course didn't charge for the work at all. So that's another benefit if you're in one of those more remote areas, but there's Ttouch people everywhere. So check that out, and I don't know when we'll be back. I had eye surgery yesterday, and I have it again on Monday, and my eye is not feeling fabulous, I have to say. I may be blind by Wednesday, but I won't get glaucoma, so there's a benefit for it. Temporary issues versus the long term. So anyway, thanks for joining us today. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful summer weather and being able to be outside as long as we possibly can. And we'll see you sometime. Thanks for joining us.